Hello everybody and welcome to this Google Hangout, which will be all about how to set up your Hootsuite dashboard in 5 easy steps. Okay, so what we're going to be covering today, what is Hootsuite? And then we're going to be, for those of you who don't know already, and then we're going to be looking at the 5 steps setting up your dashboard. We're going to be looking at pulling in your social media platforms, setting up a listening tab, pulling in RSS feeds, pulling in your Twitter lists, and using the Hootlet. So don't worry if those mean nothing to you, and we'll be going through them shortly, so don't worry about that. Okay, so for those of you who don't know already, Hootsuite is a social media management system. Now, being a social media manager, I absolutely adore Hootsuite. It saves me so much time in the day. I manage quite a lot of social media accounts, so it saves me logging in and out of every social media account continually throughout the day. It means you can see all your social media accounts in one dashboard. So it's absolutely great and saves you so much time. And even better, if you set it up correctly and use all the features that it has got, it'll save you even more time. So it supports Twitter, Facebook, Google+, Foursquare, WordPress, and Mixi. Mixi's I think, Chinese or Japanese social media network. And it does also include some other platforms like Instagram, for instance, but you just have to pull them in through apps rather than through the normal way of pulling in social media platforms, which I will show you when we go on to the dashboard itself in a minute. And you can sign up for it at www.hootsuite.com. Now, there are 3 different packages. If you haven't already got it, just to make you aware, you can have a free version, but really it just depends on how many social media platforms you manage. The free version will only let you have 3 social media platforms and only let you bring 3 platforms in. So if you've got more than 3 that you want to be managing, I pay for the Pro, which is only $8.99 a month, dollars, so it's not much at all. And you can have up to 100 social media platforms in there as well, and they also gives you some analytical reports as well, and obviously all these features down here. But the main difference is the amount of social media platforms that you'll be using. So it might be worth just upgrading to the $8.99 a month, depending on how much you're going to be using it. You do also get more apps as well. And you can bring more RSS feeds, which is a really, really helpful feature. One of my favourite features about Hootsuite is being able to bring in those RSS feeds, which I will also show you shortly. So you get unlimited RSS feeds within the Pro, which is a big difference, and you only get up to 2 in the free version. So if you really want to make use of that feature, you'd have to have the Pro. And if you're a really, really big company, then obviously you've got the Enterprise here. Okay, so first of all, we're going to be looking at pulling in your social media platforms to Hootsuite. So we're going to go on the platform now. So here, once you've signed up, logged in, you'll come across a dashboard like this. Obviously, you won't have all these lists here, which I've already got. You'll just have a plain blank screen. So the first things first is you want to bring in your social media platforms, and you'd ideally want 1 tab for each platform. As you can see here, ignore these first ones, I'll go through those in a minute, but you can see I've got a LinkedIn tab. So I've brought LinkedIn through there. I've got a Google Plus tab, and I've got an Instagram tab as well. So to bring your social media platforms, you just need to see the button here, Add Social Network. So you click on this, and then he'll give you the options to bring in all these social media platforms: Twitter, Facebook, Google+, LinkedIn, Foursquare, WordPress, which is your blogs, and Mixi. Now, as you can see, I've only got Google+, LinkedIn, and Instagram, which I've brought in as an app because Instagram isn't in this list. I personally don't bring Facebook in because Facebook's got its own insights and you can schedule within the Facebook platform, so I don't really feel the need to bring Facebook in. I like to monitor that through the actual individual social media platform itself. So I've just got Google Plus and LinkedIn and Twitter. So you just click on that and connect with Facebook, and it'll, whichever one you want, and it'll connect you with your Twitter account and then bring it in, as you can see here. And now once you've brought your platform in, so you linked in, you can then add your streams. So just bring the platform in on its own, you won't have any of these streams here. All these within each tab are called streams. So you can then add your individual streams in. Now depending on what platform it is, you'll see there'll be a list of different streams that you can choose from. So for instance, Twitter, you can bring in your home feed, your mentions, your direct messages, your sent tweets. LinkedIn, your updates, all discussions. So you can see for each platform you can bring in different streams. So with Google Plus, you in your scheduled messages as well, so you can see what messages you've got scheduled. So that's great. So you can bring in your stream to there, and as you can see, I mentioned Instagram. Now Instagram is an app, so to bring in Instagram you'd have to click on apps. And you can see there's a list of apps here. These are popular ones. These are ones I've already brought in. And Instagram is there. If it's not here, you just click on Get More Apps. And you'll be able to search. You can see YouTube there if you wanted to bring YouTube in. Some of them are free and some of them aren't. So it depends. When you can see 2 free-day trial for these. So you can bring in all sorts of things, not just social networks. There's so many apps in here. Google Drive. You can really use Hootsuite to organise your whole entire life if you wanted to. A bit extreme, but you could. So if you wanted Instagram, you can monitor Instagram. There you go. You can see I've already brought it in, so it's got a tick next to it there, and that means you can just keep an eye on, monitor it. You won't be able to post anything from it, obviously, same as desktop. If you log into Instagram on the desktop, you can't post photos, but it just allows you to monitor it, keep an eye on comments, etc. So that's bringing in your social media apps. That's the first step. Really, really easy. Bring in all your platforms. Have a little look at the apps, see what else you want to bring in. If you bring those in, then set up all your streams within each tab. And remember, you want a tab for each platform. So your LinkedIn tab, your Google Plus tab, your Instagram tab, and then you fill those with streams. Now you might be thinking here, I don't have a Twitter tab. That's because I manage so many Twitter accounts that I've actually broken my Twitter tab down into mentions and sent tweets. Because I have so many, I wouldn't be able to fit all my streams, and I'd have to have a tab for each single Twitter account, which I did have for a while, but then I readjusted it because I didn't feel like it was working for me. So I've split my Twitter into mentions. So I've got a mentions, and that you see each one of these streams is actually a different Twitter account. So at a glance, I can see all the mentions that I've had over the Twitter accounts really, really easily, instead of going through each tab and checking if I've got any mentions. Same with sent tweets. At a glance, I can see what tweets have gone out, what tweets that I've scheduled straight away. So I've chosen to do it that way. But if you've only got one Twitter account or 2, then you don't really need to do this. I just bring in the Twitter, one Twitter tab, and bring in your streams that way. Okay. So that's the first step. Really, really simple, straightforward. Putting in your social media platforms. So you put in all your social media platforms and dedicate one tab for each platform. Individually add your streams within each tab. So that's your mentions, your sent posts. And then remember, some platforms you'll have to pull in through apps. For example, Instagram. So have a little look at the apps and see what apps you might want to bring in there. Okay, step number 2. Set up a listening tab to track your keywords in Twitter. Now this tab, listening tab, dedicated just to listening in Twitter. Not any other platforms, because Twitter, even if you don't post, you don't tweet in Twitter, what is absolutely great is listening in all the conversations. Now you can see here, I've got a whole tab and I've called it listening, dedicated to listening in to all my keywords and hashtags which I think are relevant. So At this stage, you want to be thinking about what keywords you want to be listening in, what conversations and what keywords are relevant to your business, and what hashtags are relevant to your business. And then you'll be able to bring in streams that just are dedicated to those hashtags. So you can see here I've got hashtag small business, hashtag startups, and hashtag business tips. So that means every single tweet here will have one of those hashtags in. Not all of them, but one of them. You can see hashtag business tips, hashtag startups. So these hashtags are relevant for this industry and this company. So you can set them up, and I can easily at a glance go through and view all the tweets which are relevant, and I can easily engage, interact, or retweet any of these. You can see this stream is dedicated to hashtag PR request, hashtag journo request. That's a really useful hashtag because it's journalists and PR looking for articles, looking for people to do things, asking for people. So that's a really, really useful hashtag to follow. And then we've got this one, hashtag Twitter tips, hashtag social media tips, hashtag PPC tips. So you get the idea, it's just relevant hashtags and keywords. Don't have to be hashtags. Here I've got former company, companies made simple, and London presence. So these are keywords that I want to be keeping an eye on. And then you can also see here, again, keywords, business training made simple, company searches made simple. I want to be tracking those. And again, can anyone recommend a training course? Now this is a key phrase, so you can see here, and it's also got a geocoding, which I'm going to show you how to do in a minute. So it's not just keywords, you can actually track whole phrases. So can anyone recommend a training course? Now that will obviously bring up anyone on Twitter who asks those words, can you recommend a training course, which is great for listening into conversations and answering them. So you want to be thinking of phrases which people might be using to search for what your business offers and tracking that. How to form a company, again. And again, can anyone recommend? Now this is a more of a broad search, as this one is recommend a training course. It's a bit more specific, and I've also got a broad one here just in case I see in here anything that I can recommend to people. What's great about Twitter is that, and social media, is that you don't want to be selling all the time. That's the one big don't on social. You want to be helping people. You want to be advising people and helping them out. So if people are asking, can anyone recommend something, and I see there that, oh, I could recommend that, or I could help them there, then I'd jump in and recommend our services or anything. So it's good to keep an eye on that. And then also I've just got two more hashtags there, Love London and London News. Okay, so that's what I've got set up. Obviously you want all hashtags and keywords relevant to your industry. So I'm just going to show you how to do that. So remember, we've got a whole tab dedicated to listening. So to open up a new tab, you just click on this button here. You give it a name, type in there if you wanted to, listening. And then you'd want to add in your streams. So you add your stream, then you choose your account, and then this is updated. A minute. Where do I get my lists from? Oh, there you go. So you add in your stream there. That's what confused me. Take this away. So you add your new tab here, call it listening, sorry, add in your stream. I've had all these set up for ages, I haven't done it recently. And then you can either choose your social media platform, then you can choose what you want to add in. So for instance, we're on Twitter, and you can, like I showed you earlier, you can choose to add in your mentions home feed, but you've already done that on your tab dedicated to Twitter. Now you're on your tab dedicated to listening. So you want to be adding in your search terms, your keywords. So your search terms, remember when I told you about that search query that I did? Can anyone recommend? So you type in your search query there, and then you would add stream. So you click add stream, you choose your social network, who you want to add it to, and that's important because you've got lots of social networks. You obviously want to choose the one that is relevant to you, because then when you go and respond to anyone, it'll automatically tweet it or post it from that account. Now, if you click show examples here, it'll give you examples of how you can search savvy, for instance. So you might want to search for Twitter search. So if you just wrote in Twitter search, that would bring up all the tweets containing both the word Twitter and the word search. But if you wanted to search for an exact phrase, you put it in speech marks like this, and it would only bring up tweets with the exact phrase owls rock, rather than bring up all tweets with owls in and rocks in. So you wanted a phrase, you put the speech marks either side. Again, so it just goes through, have a look at here, the hashtag follow Friday. Tells you, if you with any doubt, of all the different ways you can do it. So you do that, you've entered your search query in. Now what's really useful is that anyone knows that obviously Twitter worldwide, you enter a search phrase in, you could have people asking to recommend courses, in different countries, which aren't very useful to you depending on what your business does. So then what's very exciting is you can actually then geo target your search by clicking on this, and Hootsuite will get your location, where you are on your computer, and then you can alter that to how far away you want it. So for instance, right now it's taken my location on the map, and it'll bring up any search results within 25 kilometers. Now if I wanted to extend that, I could. You just alter how many kilometers you want your search to on Twitter to go to, so depending on whether you're just London based, Cardiff based, or you're UK based, or you're Europe based, however far you want that Twitter search to go to, you can just edit the kilometers there. So that's a really, really useful tool. So that's your search query. So that's on search, and then to enter in your keywords here, you enter them here. Now you can track 3 keywords. You saw I had a number of keywords or a number of hashtags per stream, so you can attach 3 keywords or 3 hashtags per stream. So for instance, if you wanted to go hashtag London, and then you'd add, and then it'll just let you add multiple hashtags there or multiple keywords. And then once you've done that, you add the stream, and then the stream will appear with all your hashtags and keywords in. Okay, so that's the listening tab. So remember, you create your action new tab here, you add your stream, and then you go to search and keywords to add in your keywords and your search terms. And remember, when you're searching for a term, you can make it local by allowing Hootsuite to get your location and editing how far you want the search to go. So that could be really useful. Okay, so just to review that. So you set up your whole tab dedicated to the listening on Twitter. This allows you to easily involve yourself in relevant conversation, position yourself as an industry expert. It cuts through all that noise in your home stream, all those tweets which aren't quite relevant to you. This is great for lead generation, for chipping in onto relevant conversations which you want to be a part of by searching, having constant streams set up with all those relevant hashtags and keywords coming up. So every tweet or most tweets within that stream will be relevant to you for you to either get involved with, engage with, retweet, do as you wish. So it cuts out all that noise and allows you to constantly have those streams set up which are relevant to your industry. So you add your multiple streams dedicated to different keywords and hashtags. So think about what your keywords are and what hashtags are relevant to your business. Add those in. It's always a good idea to use one stream to track your company name. So in your phrase, just put your company name in and track that. So then every time your company name is mentioned on Twitter, you'll see. Because obviously a lot of people might be talking about your company. They might not know your @ handle. They might just be talking about you. So of course you won't get notified if a company just types in your company name. So you want to be tracking that, see if anything's been said about you. Like, again, use that geolocation if it's relevant for when you're tracking your key phrases. Okay. So next, so we've set up our listening tab. We now want to set up a content tab and bring in blog RSS feeds so you can easily see and share popular relevant content. Now this, when I found out you could do this on Hootsuite, it excited me so much. It was incredible. Absolutely loved it. Saves you so much time trawling through the web, trying to find content to relevant, useful content. Always going to blogs, copying the URL, coming back to Hootsuite, posting them. This is my favourite Hootsuite feature. So we want to be setting up a new tab again, like I said you here, and calling it content. Now this tab is dedicated just to content for you to share. So what you want to be thinking of is all those blogs that are useful to you, all those blogs that you share that are relevant to your industry and to your business. You can be bringing those in, bringing their RSS feeds in, so every time they post a new blog post, it'll come up here and you can literally share it directly from Hootsuite by clicking on this arrow. So say if I wanted to share this tweet, click on the arrow. The tweet comes up here, ready written for you with the link, and then you just choose what social media channel you want to share it to. Absolutely perfect. It's a great feature, I love it. Not just that, you can then start bringing in some other apps which are content related. So this is a content tab, so we want only content in here. So we want bring in the app Trend Spotter, which is great because it shows you what content is trending. Click on here and you can choose your different topics and it'll show you what's trending in each topic, which is really, really useful because obviously you want to be sharing content which is popular. And also Stumble Upon. Stumble Upon is another great app to bring in, which is always full of content. Again, you search here, you type in your different interests and it'll display blog posts there. So to do this, we again want to be adding our stream, and then we're going to be going to apps. So my favourite app is the Hootsuite Syndicator. So this is the app that you can bring in all your blog RSS feeds on. Hootsuite Syndicator, all the RSS reader. You can be bringing all your RSS feeds onto here, so they all come nicely like this. All your favourite blogs, all your useful blogs will then be fed in to your Hootsuite dashboards. So you click on that, get your app, and then once it's arrived here, then you want to be adding your RSS feeds in through here. So all you do is get the RSS feed of your blog, add it there, and then click Add Subscription, and then those blogs will show up within the Hootsuite dashboard. Now, for those of you who aren't sure how to get an RSS feed, I will show you. So, for instance, let's look at any blog like entrepreneur.com. To get the blog's RSS feed, it might just show the little sign up here, the RSS sign. If it doesn't do that, all you do is right-click on the page. You don't want to be over an image, so somewhere, and then View Page Source. And then you want to do Control Find, and then you want to search for the RSS here. Search for RSS in the top. And then if they have one, maybe they might not all have one, it will come up here. Or you might just want to search for a feed. Right, some will say RSS, and you can see here RSS, and it depends what their feed burner is and what feed they use. Here you can see they're using feed burner onto Reddit. So then what you do is you'd copy and paste that URL there. You can see it's URL HTTP, starts with the HTTP. You copy and paste that, and then you add that into here, and then add the subscription. Then if you want to, you can choose whether to display the feed in the stream or not. So you can have different streams if you want with different themes, and choose which ones to display in which. So I absolutely love that feature. It's absolutely great. So you can go through all your favourite blogs, all those blogs where every single post is relevant to your audience. And instead of constantly going back to that blog all the time and copying and pasting the URL, then you literally can just share them straight from Hootsuite. Bring in TrendSpotter again. To bring in TrendSpotter, all you do is add the stream, and then you go to your apps, and it probably won't be here because I've already put them instead there. So then you just get more apps, and you go through searching for the apps. So it's worth just going through. Like you can click on free apps here, which shows you all the free apps, going through and seeing which ones are relevant to you, and bringing in those ones. So any ones that do with content, blogs that are sharing content, bring those in. And that's great. Saves you so much time, so much time. It's incredible. Literally just to be able to post them straight from here. Click on the arrow, writes the tweet for you. So then you can add in your hashtags, add in your @. You know, you want to customize the tweet slightly. So you're not just constantly posting tweets like that with no hashtags in, and they're not very conversational. But it just means it's put the link in there ready for you. You can customize the tweet, add in the hashtags, make it a bit more friendly, and then send it out or schedule it straight away. Okay. So that's your content tab. So bring your relevant blog RSS feeds to share. You don't always have to be sharing your own content. In fact, you shouldn't always be sharing your own content. You should be doing a mixture, sharing other people's content as well, as long as it's good content and useful. And then bring in apps such as TrendSpotter and StumbleUpon, which are great for keeping an eye on trending popular content. So that's number 3. Number 4, set up a list tab for Twitter to cut out the noise. So like we did with Twitter and the hashtags and the keywords, we can also set up a tab dedicated just to lists, which is also helpful. So you can see here I've got my tab dedicated to lists. Now lists are Twitter lists. For those of you who don't know, Twitter lists are just a way of organising all the people that you follow. So all the people that you follow you can add into different lists and call them different things. So say you are interested in business startups and small business news, you can create a list called small business, and you can go around adding relevant Twitter accounts to that list. So you might want, I've just got a list called useful followers, so followers which I find useful, which I know they tweet good tweets, call them that. I've got a list called content creators, so blogs or people who write blogs, bloggers who are creating content who I want to connect with to try and guest blog on their site. So you can create all these lists. List accountant services. So if your target market are accountants, you might want to create a list, call it accountants, and put all the accountants into that list. So it's a great way of organising your followers. Once again, the aim of this is to cut out all that noise. So it means straight away you can go and you can view your list of accountants and you can engage with them. You can retweet them easily without all those other noise coming in, all those other tweets of people that you might be following. Because let's be honest, along the way you do start to follow lots of people, and your home feed can actually become very irrelevant. Now I don't even look at the home feed of any of my Twitter accounts because it's just irrelevant stuff. Why look at the home feed when I've got all these lists nicely organised of the different sectors of people I'm following and whether they're useful. So I just look at all those lists, and it's so much easier just cutting out all that noise. So you want to create a new tab, call it lists, and bring in all your lists. So again, you do it exactly the same way. Now these are lists that I've got over 4 different accounts because obviously I manage multiple social media accounts. But if you just got one Twitter account, then just put all your followers into lists and bring those lists in so you can see them nicely. And of course you can put your competitors in a list as well. So you don't have to follow people to put them in a list. You can put anyone you want in a list. You don't have to follow them and they won't know that you've put them in the list. So you could have a list of competitors and just to keep an eye on their tweets and have a whole list there. So once you've got your tab, you just add your stream. Oh, it won't let me add another one because I have 10 streams maximum. So you add your stream and So we've done streams, we've done search, we've done keywords, and now we're on lists. So you choose your Twitter account, and then you either create a new list or use an existing list. Now, if you haven't got any lists set up, then you might want to go back to your Twitter, log into Twitter, and put all the people you're following into lists, so then you can bring those lists in. And it's really, really useful for just being able to see straight away. You're thinking, oh, I haven't engaged with anyone in a while, or oh, I want to see what these guys are doing. Straight away, go across and view all your lists, like so. Okay, so that's lists. Really, really simple, but really, really effective. Cuts out all that noise, and you get all those useful followers in one stream. Cutting out all those followers who you're not really interested in, who just follow to follow, and that you build up along the way. So you dedicate a whole tab to Twitter lists. If you haven't done so already, segment the people you follow into lists. And one last point here, which I didn't mention, make one of those lists high clout. Now, it's great to engage with people with a high clout score because that will improve your clout score, which is good. So in Hootsuite, it's actually really useful because if you click on an account's name, it'll tell you what the clout score is there. 62, now that's a really high clout score. So they've been doing a lot of engaging. They're thought leaders in their field. So you can tell that from their clout score. So the higher the clout score, the better. Now you can actually have a list of high clout scores. And I've got a whole tab dedicated to it here because, like I said, I have lots of Twitter accounts. So I've got each account and high clout followers in each account. So followers I can be engaging with, which is good for me because they've got a high clout score. Now to check, to view people's clout score really, really easily, is that if you, in your Twitter tab, if you bring in your home feed or whatever lists you've got, say I've got on my list here useful followers, you can actually filter by clout score. So you can filter by keywords. So if you're just looking for one keyword that you're interested in list, you can write in a keyword and it'll just bring up the tweets that have that keyword. Or you can filter by clout score. This is really useful. So you can move it up and you can say, oh, I only want to see tweets from people who've got a clout score higher than 60. And that'll clout score and just show you the high clout score people, which is great. Really, really useful. And then you can follow those people and put them in a separate list of high clout scorers. Now don't get too obsessed with this. You don't want to just be engaging with people with high clout score. I mean, normally if they've got really high clout score, they won't engage back with you. Obviously it's worth a try, but they won't often. They've got hundreds of thousands of followers right back. But it is useful to know and be aware of those people with high clout scores. So you set up your list tab for Twitter to cut out the noise. So you dedicate a whole tab to Twitter lists. If you haven't done so already, split the people that you're following into lists. You can do that on twitter.com, and then make one of these lists high clout. And you can, as I just showed you then, search for high clout users with the filter. Okay, the final thing, which when setting up your Hootsuite dashboard, which is going to save you loads and loads of time, is get the Hootlet. So you can schedule content into Hootsuite. Now this Hootlet little bookmark is incredible. So this allows you, so say you're on the web and you've come across a blog post, like, oh, that's good, I want to tweet that. Instead of copying the URL, going back to Hootsuite or going to Twitter, writing the tweet and posting it, you can actually just click on the Hootlet in your bookmark browser and it'll send the tweet directly into Hootsuite. You can either send it now or you can schedule it for the future. So a bit like if you've got the Pinterest bookmark and you're browsing the web, you can just click on that Pinterest bookmark and then it'll pin that picture. You can pin it straight in. This is really, really great. So all it is a Hootsuite extension that takes content you want to share when browsing the web and puts it into Hootsuite. So you can get the extension at this URL here. Post that, and I'll also post that onto the Hangout so you can have it there. I post it here. So you go to that link and you can get the Hootlet from there, which I'll show you now. So depending on what browser you use, you click Hootlet for Chrome, Hootlet for Firefox, click on that. And then I'll bring it up and you can see I've already got it. Add it up here. You can see my one up here, the little black owl there. So I'll show you an example of this. For instance, you're an entrepreneur blog, you're an article you just read you really like, click on the little Hootlet, and there you go, boom. Tweet view right there. You can edit it, change it, choose your social media platform, and then you can either auto schedule it, so schedule it for the future, or you can send now directly through Hootsuite. How useful is that? That's great. So in that sense, social media isn't something you go and do, it's something you can just do while you're reading or while you're researching about other things. So it saves you so much time, and if you get into the habit of using that, it's just something that you can do on the side. As soon as you read something that you like and it's useful, you just send it out like that. Another great way of using the Hootlet is when you do a Google search. So for instance, whatever you might search for, company formations, you'll see a little owl pop up here. You can click on that, and that'll actually, now that's searching for all the tweets and Twitter accounts to do with company formations, and then you can actually add that search to Hootsuite. So you can see search results for company formations, and then you can add to Hootsuite, and you can then choose to either create a new tab or add it to an existing tab. And that's so useful. What it's really useful for actually is events. So say there's a relevant event coming up that you want to follow the hashtag for, or you want to see all the tweets about. You just search the name of that event. I've just searched for Excel London there, but if it is a specific event, and then every time that event's mentioned, it comes up in that search. So if there's an event on this week or next month that you're interested in, you search for that event, add it to Hootsuite, and then that's great. You can start engaging, you can start engaging with those tweets, following the people who are involved in that event before the event actually happens. So if you've got involved in an event, or you've got an event coming up, you know, a show or something, that you want to be engaging with people or creating leads from people, then you can search for the event, come up, it'll come up here, add it to Hootsuite, and then that'll automatically come in and bring in a tab, and with all the search, with a stream of all the tweets that have that search term. So that's it. So there are my 5 which are huge time savers. All of these I've personally discovered, come across, and absolutely have loved, so I wanted to share them. So remember the takeaways. First of all, pulling your social media platform is really easy. Dedicate a tab to each platform. And remember, Instagram and a couple of other platforms you'll have to pull in through the apps. Then set up your listening tab. So that's your tab dedicated to listening in on those relevant hashtags and search terms. And then set up a content tab, pull in those RSS feeds. That is my favourite feature. Pull in all those blog feeds, saves you having to trawl the web, going from blog to blog to blog, finding different URLs and posting them. And then create and pull in your Twitter lists, again cutting out all that noise. And then use the Hootlet extension, which is fantastic. So as you're surfing the web and you see a blog you think that's relevant or you like, you can then just share it straight away from that without having to go back and forth all the time to your Twitter account and Hootsuite. Okay, and I'll see you later.